I'm going to begin by asking about where the idea for this movie came from. Did you read, is it Nora's story that was
Yes.
the genesis behind this? So how did you stumble across her story?
Well, in 2009, when I was 18 years old, I read an article in a Belgian newspaper about a 15-year-old trans girl called Nora that wanted to become a ballerina. And I remember reading that at the age of 18 and thinking, wow, this young person is able to be so true to herself in a world that is so gender specified, thinks in such a binary way. She really challenges the norm. So I had an immediate admiration for her. I contacted her because I felt like I had to do something with that. And we became close friends. The first idea was to shoot a documentary about her, but that she didn't really feel comfortable doing. And so we started writing the script of a fiction film.
So for you, do you perceive this as a fictional movie? Is that what you perceive this to
Yes.
be? Yeah. And how important is it, that people watching it take that, to perceive it on the same terms?
I mean, it's presented as a fiction film. It's not presented as a documentary. So, I mean, Nora inspired this film deeply and greatly, but there's many reasons why we chose to make it into a fiction.
And I mean, how important do you think the timing of this release is? Because it seems like gender identity is something that we're talking about a lot more at the moment. It's something that people have become much more aware of. Do you think that the timing for this film is quite important?
I think with everything in life, timing is essential. I think so, yes. I think that this film definitely, you had the feeling when we were in Cannes presenting this film in May, I really got the feeling that it was the right time, you know, that people were really reacting to seeing this character at that moment in time. Maybe, I don't know, they would have reacted to that also years before or years after, but it felt right, like the right time. And a lot of people that came up to me and talked to me about the film and about the character have talked to me about how they saw a character like Lara for the first time on screen and how that was refreshing for them. And so yeah, I feel like the timing was good.
I mean, the film is quite uncomfortable at times, in the sense, I mean, when the camera will linger on the toes when they're really kind of bruised, and she's pushing up against the bedpost, and also obviously the taking off of plasters, which is, I mean, what was the intention behind those kind of moments that make us kind of want to look away from the screen?
Well, I think, of course, the genre of and especially the world of the ballet often is used as a world in which working with the body, manipulating the body, pushing the body in a form in which those cliches are used. And we do that too. We use them. I was very interested in this combination of the world of the dance, which is a world in which you have to work with the body, on which the body is central, and this character that has that very difficult relationship with the body, and it has the feeling that in order to fit in, she has to manipulate her body to that image. She wants to arrive at that cliche idea of the highest possible female form, the idea of the ballerina. She wants to arrive at that point. And so I found, for example, the image of a foot being pushed in a point shoe, her pushing her foot in a point shoe. Such a symbolic image for this character and for the world that we choose for her.
Because the film is very provocative. I mean, it obviously it's got, let's say, 95% or something on Rotten Tomatoes and awards and stuff. So it's being lauded, rightly so, for being a really great piece of filmmaking. But at the same time, there's been a couple of articles. I think the Hollywood Reporter wrote an article that wasn't as keen on the film as many other people. But you've put a film out in the dialogue. It's in the world. People are responding to it and reacting to it. And how are you faring with any negative criticism, even if it is being kind of it's inferior to all of the people saying how much they love it? Are you still wary of people's opinions that aren't as keen on the film?
I think it's super interesting to have a conversation around a film. I'm as interested in someone writing. No, I'll say it differently. I think every opinion is valid. In the sense, we all look at things, we all look at films from our personal point of view. And I don't think, unanimity exists. So you always have people that really respond to something, that really like something, and people that don't. And I think both are allowed to exist next to each other. Of course, I'm really happy that a lot of people are very fond of the film, but I also embrace the fact that some people don't like the film, and that dialogue around representation and what we show or what we don't show, I think is super interesting, and questions ourselves. Is that a sense? Questions ourselves, and I find that to be super interesting.
And my sort of final question, even though we're very lucky over here in the UK, we're getting a cinematic release through Curzon. Netflix obviously involved in this. And I was just wondering about your perception of the kind of future of cinema through streaming services. Because, I mean, obviously, the films like this, they have such huge appeal now on a streaming service, and accessibility where so many people can watch it. Is that the most important thing for a filmmaker? I imagine you always want to see your film in the cinema. That's the kind of home for great movies. But at the same time, is it just good for you that people are seeing it? Is that the sort of paramount thing here, that it's there and people are going to be watching it?
Well, I think cinema is, for me, cinema has a. I think there's an importance in cinema, especially for a young generation. Why? Because I think it's for the duration of an hour and a half, or 2 hours, or 3 hours, sitting in a space together with other people, being completely transported into another universe, into another life, into another world, escaping for a moment your own reality and all the screens that you're constantly confronted with. So for me, I think cinema has maybe more than ever a great importance. So I'm a strong believer of cinema, and at the same time I'm confronted with all the different ways of watching a film, and younger people wanting to watch more content, or not just people wanting to watch more content in different ways. And I hope that the two can exist next to each other.